Because even to this day, as Native people, we have to fight. We go to battles, even just to be, to maintain our identity, to maintain our history, to maintain our spirituality in so many different levels. You know, our young people, every day that they show up in school, that is a battle in itself, because a history book does not mention us. Going into so many different places, you know, as Native people, we put on that armor and we show up, but we show up with a good heart. You know, we show up with that good heart because as Native people, we are taught the concept of that traditional kinship, right? We adopt each other, right? Aunties and uncles and cousins and grandparents, right? So living here in Seattle, right, this ancestral land of the Coast Salish people, right? Living here, myself being an indigenous woman also against in this land, right? So like respectful, right? In that same manner, we also ask permission, right? So when you see my family come out and we face the four directions, that is what we are doing. Even though that we are using a microphone, even though that we're on a stage inside of a building in this beautiful city, it's still the ancestral land of the Coast Salish people, right? So when we show up and we ask for permission, we're asking permission to the ancestors of these lands. We are asking permission to the people that walk amongst us of this land, right? Because a lot of times we forget that. A lot of times when there is a land acknowledgement, we acknowledge all the ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people, right? But part of that acknowledgement is that accountability, right? How do we walk in a good way, right? So when we do this and we ask permission to those ancestors, to the people here, we're also asking permission, right, to all the different beings of this land, to the critters, to the plant relatives, to the creator, to all the different elements, right? These dances that you're going to be seeing, it's not a performance, it's not a show. We did not practice them and learn them from somebody else, right? These are part of who I am, right? Like I was born and raised within these circles. We come from Mexico City, Mexico, right? And a lot of times, because there is that contemporary border, a lot of times it comes this idea that somehow Native people stopped at the border, right? Ancestrally, our people would travel north and south. My family, us being from Tlacopan, but originally we're from Iztacalco, and the people from Iztacalco are part of the Pochteca, which was a society of the Mexica people. And to be part of the Pochteca, you had to be born into this society. These are the long-distance merchants, and they would travel down to the tip of South America, to the tip of North America. They're the ones that would do the maps, right, for the ancient cultures. They're the ones that would trade. They're the ones that would bring knowledge. They were ambassadors to the peoples, right? That is the family that I am born into. And we are continuously still doing that. Look at me, like, our family's here. My whole life I have spent it traveling throughout Turtle Island, you know, and building these relationships, right? So when we do these dances, even though that I might say, oh, we're from Tlacopan and Iztacalco in what is today Mexico City, yes, we do speak Spanish. However, to us that is a colonial language, right? That is a language that we have to learn in order to survive, right? And coming from Mexico City itself, one of the largest, most populated cities in the world, right? We had the Spanish, we had the French, we even had the Americans coming through our homeland. And so having one of these urban places, right, so populated, right? As Native people, we had to hide in plain sight, right? So our ways of being, our families, our traditions, they were kept within our homes, hidden from plain sight. And in the past few decades, about four decades or so, it has been a little bit more open and more open, even more so now with, you know, internet and social media and smartphones and all those things, right? But for the longest time, this was hidden. This ways of being was hidden, you know. If you ever travel to Mexico City, you will see these like old colonial buildings that are 300, 400, even 500 years old. And alongside next to them are our temples and our pyramids, right? And whenever there's any kind of excavation, you know, or whenever an earthquake happens, there's more and more things that are coming up, you know, so we are part of that, right? So a lot of times living here in Seattle, when I hear of like urban natives, you know, and I think about it, I was like, oh, the city grew around us, of my people, right? So anyways, we're gonna get ready to open up our circle. I'll share with you more as we go through. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you. These past couple of years, it just seems like a blur, right? With this pandemic affecting our communities on so many levels, not just as a